What if healing could be as easy as booking a flight or planning a dinner party? I was watching a video recently. Someone was demonstrating everything AI can do for you right now, today. It can book your flights, write your emails, plan a dinner party for 20 people, down to the playlist and the handwritten place cards. The creator sharing this video described task after task that was available through AI with ease. And the comment section was full of people saying, "This changes everything." As I watched, part of me thought, why can't healing be this easy? It's nice to have an assistant for the dinner party and the emails, but what about the deep inner work? What about the wound that keeps being reactivated by interactions with loved ones? I wondered if it was possible for AI to support the version of yourself you keep promising you will become. Would it be possible for AI to work on the relationship pattern that follows you from one chapter of your life to the next? These questions stayed with me. And the more I sat with them, the more I realized it wasn't really a question about AI at all. It was a question about humans, about what we are hoping for, what we are avoiding, and what becomes possible when we finally stop looking for a way around the thing that is asking us to walk through it. I read that in 2025, the most common use of AI wasn't productivity, coding, or content creation. It was mental health support and companionship. Millions of people every single day are opening a chat window and typing the thing that they couldn't say to anyone else. Their grief, their fear, the pattern they keep repeating and cannot seem to stop. They chatted about the wound that has been there so long it almost feels like part of the furniture. I understand why. I have done it myself. And if you are here, I have a sense you know this feeling too. You've read the self-help books, maybe more than a few. You've listened to podcasts on your morning walk, started courses and journals, and eventually abandoned them. Maybe you downloaded a meditation app with strong intention, but in the weeks that follow, it never gets opened. And maybe more recently, you found yourself typing your challenges into a chat window at midnight and feeling, just for a moment, like something was finally listening. And yet here you are, still carrying the same weight, still noticing the same patterns surface in your relationships, your work, the quiet moments before sleep. Still wondering why, after all this time and all this effort, something essential has not shifted. There's something none of those tools can do for you. And until it's named clearly, you will keep reaching for the next resource, the next insight, the next thing that promises to make this easier, and feeling the same quiet frustration when it doesn't go quite deep enough. We are built at the most fundamental level to move toward pleasure and away from pain. This is not a weakness, it is biology. Your nervous system has one primary job, and that job is to protect you. There's a part of you that wants an easier way, a faster route, a tool that can do some of the heavy lifting. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do. And our culture does not just allow that instinct, it celebrates it. We live in the age of optimization, the life hack, the shortcut that changes everything. And so we bring that same mentality to our inner work, looking for an easy button. We scroll instead of sitting with the feeling, asking for our attention. We listen to a podcast about healing on the drive to work and count it as doing the work. We find an article that explains the pattern perfectly and feel, just for a moment, like we have something figured out. But the next morning, when the same feeling surfaces again, we reach for something to avoid feeling the discomfort and self-judgment. AI is specifically designed to be affirming. AI chatbots are coded to validate, because validation is what people are starving for. When you type your pain into that window and something reflects it back with care and clarity and zero judgment, it feels like being understood. It feels like finally someone sees me. Except it also tells you what you want to hear. It adjusts when you push back. It softens when you resist. And if part of you wanted to use that reflection as permission to stop digging, it will hand you that permission without a second thought. Millions of people are turning to a tool structurally incapable of challenging them, to do the work that requires the willingness to be challenged. I know this not just from research. I know it from my own experience. The first time I used AI to reflect on something I was genuinely working through, it named a pattern in me before I had fully named it in myself. And I'm not going to lie, there was a real moment of understanding. Something clarified that had been murky. I thought, oh yes, that's it. That's the missing link. But the more I sat with it, the more I thought the recognition felt slightly off. Not wrong exactly. More like a coat that was almost my size, but not quite. What the AI was suggesting for me was familiar enough to feel true, because I so badly wanted to feel seen and understood. But it didn't quite hit the mark fully. AI took something living and layered about me and compressed it down to one simple statement in seconds. And something in me knew that the reality was more complicated, more tender, and more nuanced than the simplistic view from the chat. There was no friction. When I expressed doubt, it adjusted. When I pushed back, it softened. There was no moment where it held its ground because it sensed I was circling something I wasn't ready to face. No pause that asked without words whether I was really looking or just looking like I was looking. It told me what I wanted to hear, and in the moment, it felt like wisdom. But looking back, I see it had missed the mark. Not long after this chat conversation, I sat with a fellow coach to work through some of what had surfaced. This experience was completely different. This coach asked me a question, and after I answered, she slowed me down, and she didn't move on. We stayed with what I said, sat with the feelings that came up. And this allowed us to take the process one layer deeper. Being with the experience wasn't a framework or categorization the coach was fitting me into. I wasn't a data point to analyze. She was present with me and genuinely curious about what was actually true for me. There was no search for the pattern she recognized from someone else's story. She wanted to understand my worldview and what was true for me, specifically in the full and unique shape of my experience. At some point, I said something I hadn't planned to say because it came up organically while exploring my inner experience. This was something that surprised even me. The coach heard what was underneath my words and reflected it back in a way that made me feel, for the first time in the whole process, completely seen and understood. In my experience working with the healing process, the felt experience of being truly understood is itself part of the medicine. What was happening during my coaching session was not a transfer of information. It was two human beings in genuine connection with each other. And genuine connection is not a feature that can be added to AI in any future updates. When the AI had first reflected that pattern back to me, I noticed a tightening in my body, a quiet pulling back. Some part of me heard what was being offered and said, without words, not yet, not exactly. The AI had no way of honoring that. It kept moving forward because from its perspective, resistance is a problem to be solved. Resistance is not a problem. Resistance is your inner world saying, I need more safety than this moment is offering me before I can look at that. A skilled guide knows how to meet that contraction with curiosity. They know how to slow down when something in you pulls back. How to ask with genuine care, what is this protecting? Because what resistance protects is almost always something worth protecting. A part of you that was once hurt and learned to guard itself. A part of you that deserves patience and respect, not a workaround. Doing this work for yourself does not mean doing it by yourself. No one can feel your feelings for you. That is true, but that is entirely different from saying you must walk through this without support of another human. Because you do not have to, and honestly, you should not have to. A skilled coach, a good therapist, a trusted guide or friend. These are not people who take the work away from you. They are people who make the work possible. They create the conditions in which your nervous system feels safe enough to stop guarding and begin opening. They hold up a mirror when you are too close to your own story to see it clearly. They offer the wider view, the steady, compassionate presence that can see what you cannot see about yourself and hold it with care until you can see it too. That kind of support does not do your healing for you. It walks beside you into the places that feel too tender or too unfamiliar to enter alone. And in that accompaniment, in that felt sense of not being alone in it, something shifts. Not because the guide did anything to you, but because you finally felt safe enough to let it move. Researchers are documenting something that gives me pause. People are increasingly turning to AI not just as a reflection tool, but as a regular source of emotional connection. preferring it to human relationships because it is easier and it's always available. AI never has a hard day of its own, and it never needs anything in return. AI might feel like the perfect companion in all the ways that costs nothing and none of the ways that give anything back. This is not a new story for many of you watching this. You already know what it is to give endlessly to something that cannot truly receive you, to pour yourself into the comfort and care of everyone around you, while quietly starving for someone to ask how you are and mean it. You know what it's like to say yes when everything inside you says no, because it's easier than the discomfort of being truly known and risking that someone might not stay. The person who has spent years making themselves smaller so others remain comfortable is now turning to a tool structurally incapable of genuine presence. They are looking for the connection they have never felt entirely safe enough to ask for from the people in their life. The tool that feels like connection while actually deepening the isolation. We are wired for human connection at a deep level. We regulate each other's nervous systems. We heal in relation with others. Your inner life is not an optimization project or an experience to hack. Your healing is not a problem the right tool can solve. The tender, unresolved places inside you are not inefficiencies to be corrected. They are invitations to slow down in a world that rewards speed, to feel in a culture that prefers analysis, to return again and again without judgment and without rushing to the truth of who you are beneath all the noise and the motion and the doing. AI cannot answer that invitation for you, but you can. And when you are ready, truly ready, to stop outrunning your feelings and start walking toward them, something in you will recognize that moment as the opportunity it is. That moment is an opening for the work to deepen. Maybe the next time you find yourself reaching for a quick answer, pause and consider reaching for a real connection instead. Next week, I want to offer something more hopeful on the same topic, where these tools can actually support your inner work when used honestly with intention, without becoming another way to avoid the real work. I think it will shift how you use them rather than asking you to give them up entirely. Until next time, take good care of yourself and keep looking inward.